Okay, hi everyone. We are going to go over the 3.5 homework, which involves graphing and factoring and all kinds of good stuff with quadratics. So I'm going to go to one that might be more difficult. Let's see. Let's do number 5 together. Okay, so we're given the graph. The obvious thing to do first would be to fill in the chart that they give us. So we're going to find our pin. Okay, so here is a point. So that's going to be -6 for x and 0 for y. And then I'm going to have my next point would be about here at -5. And then, okay, notice this is counting by halves. So this is -3, -3.5. Then at -4, we're right here. And that's at 6. At -3, we are right here at -7.5. Then our vertex is at -2 and -8. And I'm going to write that over here as well because that is our vertex. It is also the lowest point, so that's my minimum value. I'm going to go here. My next point is at -1 and -7.5. And then I here at 0 for x and -6 for y. Okay, those are the points that I can graph there. I can identify now the axis of symmetry, which is going to go right down the middle here. So that's going to be at x equals -2. And so remember, these two will match because the axis of symmetry always goes through the vertex. The next thing we could do is find factored form and the x-intercepts, because we have the x-intercepts already here at -6 and 0, and then at 2 and 0. Before we can get factored form, we really do need that a value. So we want to find that a value. So remember, a is how far I move over and then up. So I always go over 1, and how far up did I move? I moved up 1/2. So my a value is 1/2. So then I can go to my vertex form. And again, remember vertex form is a times the quantity of x minus h squared plus k. That your vertex is h and k, and the a value is the a value. So when I write this, I'll have f of x equals the 1/2 times the quantity of x minus, I have my vertex, it's -2. When I plug it into a negative, it makes this +2. And then squared. And then plus k, and k is -8, so it's going to be -8. So that's vertex form. I can also write this in factored form. I still do need the a value. So my a value always goes in front when it's in factored form. And then I have x I change the sign. So my x-intercept is -6. When I plug it in, it becomes +6. And then I do the same thing with the other x-intercept. X, since the 2 is positive, it changes signs to a -2. And then that's factored form. I can find the y-intercept because that was on my graph. It's crossing the y-axis right here at -6. So when x is 0, y is -6. And then standard form, I would just take my factored form and multiply it out. So I'm going to start with drawing the box. And my side lengths are x plus 6 and x minus 2. X times x is x squared. 6 times x is 6x. X times -2 is -2x. And 6 times -2 is -12. From there, I'm going to combine my like terms. I have the x squared. -2 and 6, they're opposite signs, so I subtract and get positive 4x and minus 12. Now, the only other thing I have to do is multiply by the a value. Distribute that a value through. So 1/2. So I'm going to multiply. So this is going to become f of x equals 1/2 x squared plus 4 times 1/2. Half of 4 is 2x. And then half of 12 is -6. So that's in standard form. So now we've completed number 5 on our homework. We have been able to identify the equation in standard form, the equation in vertex form, and the equation in factored form, all from a graph. I hope you guys do well and understand this. And if you have questions, please feel free to contact me.